Hello everyone, this is Direwolf20 and welcome to episode 77 of Direwolf20's Let's Play series. I am excited. I don't mind telling you guys I'm excited because I came up with a pretty cool plan on how to automate the Alchemy system from Blood Magic without using Steve's Factory Manager. So you guys have seen me do Steve's Factory Manager in the past. I've done that system at least 2 or 3 times. We've done a little bit of Steve's Factory Manager with the Blood Magic stuff, and I said to myself, let's come up with a new way to automate putting items in and out of the altar using Steve's Factory Manager. Let's see what we can come up with. And I kind of feel like I came up with something pretty cool. So let's go ahead and take a look at what we're going to do. So the first thing we're going to want is a new altar. And the next thing I'm going to want is to, I think what I'm going to have is like the, let's go back up there actually. Blood Magic. I want to have this altar be dedicated to things like the Catalyst. And another altar dedicated to some of the higher tier materials. So that one will be responsible for crafting like the basic materials like catalysts and whatnot, and then another one for the higher tier stuff. So let's see what we can come up with. I'm going to get another set of ritual stones. I think I needed, what was it for the alchemy ritual? Ballad of Alchemy, good. 16. So I need 20 in total. Should teach my AE system how to make these, but let's see. Oh, I probably have to, there we go. When you update your NEI, or when you update your mod pack, sometimes you have to change some settings that got stuck. But there we go. And then orb, sweet. 1, 2, let's get about 20 of these guys. And then we can use this to craft one of these. Cool. Okay, so I should have no problem now. Let's pop back upstairs. Like I said, I should have a teleport thing ready to go over here. But I think I'm going to mirror this. So I want to have this. So this was what? 1, 2, 3, 4 blocks away. So 1, 2, 3, 4 blocks away. I should then be able to do something like this. And that won't look half bad. Cool. All right, let me get the other ingredients that I'm going to need, like the alchemic chemistry set and maybe the interfaces and chests. Maybe we'll just go with chests like we did last time and blood altar, and then we'll come back here in a moment to see how this is going to all work. All right, guys, I think I've got all the stuff that I want to show you how this is going to work. So let's start with this. We're going to place this doohickey here, right? Cool. And we're going to probably wind up just thinking about how exactly I want this to work. Let's do this as a demonstration first, and then we're going to do it for reals. So let's say that we wanted, let's grab from our AE system, gravel, sand, and cobble. That should be good. I should put some things away because my inventory is, as usual, a giant mess. Let's say that can go away, and probably not much else can, to be honest with you, hilariously. We'll put away the pocket computer for now too. That's cool. And our wand focus and thaumonomicon, that should be good. And mortar and can. I don't think we need any of that stuff. All right. So now I can say gravel, sand, and cobble. So the goal here is that we want to, based on the emission of a redstone signal, place an item in this blood altar, right? The blood altar will automatically craft whatever is sitting inside of it. So in the past, I've done this with Steve's Factory Manager, and I've said, you know, put items in, pull items out, track all this stuff, and I wanted to do this a little differently. So this time, I'm doing something cool. I grabbed oak wood cases from Bibliocraft, just because they're a very handy object that can store one item at a time. And that's what I'm going to need for this build. I don't want any more than one item to go in there, so I'll put, it can be blocks or items, doesn't matter. Cool. And then we're going to run some impulse item ducts. So I'm going to be using, whoops, that was not what I wanted to click. I want this guy. We're going to be using thermodynamics for this build. So we're going to have impulse item ducts on the bottom and on the back. And I'm going to try and build this to make it both aesthetically pleasing and really cool. So let's see. I think we're going to want that. And that, and that. Cool. Actually, no, we're going to want that on the other side. So in the end here, we're going to want this, 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 leading into here. Cool. And then on the bottom of these, we're going to have retrievers. And as we recall, hardened retrievers can pull items from an existing inventory far away. On the back, we're going to have hardened servos, which can pull items out of the current inventory. Neato. We're going to also want some lead dust. So I think I can craft that. Do I know how to make lead dust? No. Pretty sure it's dust that I need. Let's pop downstairs real quick and grind it up. Base. Because we're going to need, and I'll show you why. I'm going to do this without, and then you'll see why I need it, and then you'll be like, oh, okay, cool. So you can purposely do it wrong just so you guys can demonstrate and see how things work. So that'll be that, and then we need to get rid of these blocks for the time being, and we're going to place down some insulated redstone. Cool. And we're going to put down 1, 2, 3. We're going to configure this so that the easterly, hey, where'd you go? Oh, right. So east, in, out, strong signal, and up will also be a strong signal, and that's going to be the red frequency. Cool. East will be in, out, green, strong signal, as will up will be in, out, green, strong signal. And then finally east will be in, out, brown, strong signal, and up will be in, out, brown, strong signal. Cool. So now I'm going to configure it so that when the hardened servo runs when it's receiving a signal, and the retriever piece runs when it's not receiving a signal. Cool. So we've got cobblestone here. So I want to tell this thing that the only thing you're allowed to grab is cobblestone. You are allowed to grab gravel and run on low signal. And you are allowed to grab sand and run on low signal. Cool. So the concept here is that when a redstone signal goes through the wire, it turns off the retriever, turns on the exporter, sends it into the blood altar. And then when the redstone signal is off, it turns off the servo, it turns back on the retriever, and pulls the item out of the blood altar. Cool? I thought you would like that. Let's try it out. So I'm going to run the following. Let's do it like here so you guys can kind of see what's going on. So we're going to grab some levers. 1, 2, 3. This can be, we'll make this one red, this one can be green, and this one can be brown. So let's see what happens. If I flip the red lever, it should pull the sand out, and it did. And the sand makes its way into the blood altar. Nice. And if I turn, not that one, this one off, so you notice it's okay if they're all on, right? Now if we do the cobblestone, let's see what happens. The cobblestone should pull out. But, oh, look, it looped right back in. That's unfortunate. That's not at all what we want. That's why we wanted to have this thing set up. So what we'll say here is probably, this is actually a little bit longer. So let's do this. I'm going to snag you. Just because this is a compact design, it's a little bit different, but we'll just do this. It's the same thing. But what we're going to do is remove this guy. We're going to combine him with pulverized lead so that he is now a dense item duct, meaning this is the furthest destination away. So the priority will be to go to the blood altar first and the other destinations last. So now if I flip the cobblestone lever, the cobblestone should get pulled out and make its way to the blood altar first, but then the retriever, because it's pulling from the blood altar, will wind up snagging it. How cool is that? So that's the plan, right? So we can have an attachment here from the AE system, for example, that says, you know, cobblestone, gravel, sand, and if you have enough, you know, don't emit a redstone signal. If you don't have enough, do emit a redstone signal. So if we're low on all three, boom, whichever one makes its way out of there first okay, we're fine. The other ones are probably going to, route their way back in and get stuck and kind of like, loop around in a loop. But that's okay. We'll let that happen. But then when the cobblestone lever is turned off, boom, the cobblestone gets sucked back in. Everything else continues looping. One of them will make their way over to the blood altar. The other ones will continue looping. And then when gravel's done, boom, turn that off, and sand will wind up looping its way in there. So there we go, gravel's out, sand is out. Sand should now make its way in. Sand will process in the blood altar, and etc. So that's the plan. Now let's make it a reality and also make it somewhat nicer looking and also make it cool. All right, guys, we're back. And I'm making a bunch of mana pearls because I'm thinking I want to do some red string stuff. Red string should make it so that, even though I don't really need to do this, but it should make it so that this design can look really cool. So I'm getting myself a bunch of these guys. And then we can close our portal. And let's pop back to our base where we can request more red string. Cool. And then we should be able to use this stuff to make ourselves a red stringed container. Awesome. So I'm going to need more living rock. That should be in my Botania area. I should have a bunch of it, actually. Right in here. Nice. Back to the base. Well, you know what I need. Red string, this thing. Go. Nice. So that's 7 of them. So let's pop back upstairs then and configure this thing. So we're going to basically want, and we'll like put it right here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right? Nice. And those are all beaming into, oh, that's one level too low. We actually just want 1 down there. There we go. How's that look? Nice. So that thing should be beaming into that one, and those guys should all be beaming into those things. Awesome. I'm thinking this one can be maybe more like here-ish, like somewhat separated from those, and these we might wind up wanting to push back 1 or 2, but we'll see once we've got this all configured. So what we're going to want to do, yeah, I might actually want to push these back further. Let's see if I can push them back this far. And again, this is semi-unnecessary from the perspective of it just working, but it should be making for some better visuals, and you'll see what I mean and why in a minute. So we should then be able to do our impulse item ducts, right? And we'll say 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and like that. Cool. And then we should be able to then say something like this and this. To that. Cool. Thinking then that we will want to, instead of the dense item duct, we're going to want to go with the opposite one. So which one is that is the question. It's not lead, so is it silver? Put you away. If we grind up silver, so dense item duct, cool. Yeah, it's funny, I don't think the item ducts actually show up in any eye, unfortunately, but I think it's silver. Nice, vacuum item duct. So this is the opposite of the dense item duct. We'll say this is the first destination instead of the last. So if we pop a vacuum item duct here, it'll, pretty much say anything that's getting pulled through the network go this way first. Cool. So that should be good. now we're going to want to not have this here or this here. We're actually going to want these guys looped around the outside. Because we're going to need to have the things there, the redstone lines. So we'll do 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And you can see this is somewhat of an expandable system. So if we wanted another row of this, it would be easy. We just bump it out further, right? On either side. And we should be able to do, you know, another set on top and below if we really needed to. But let's stick with what we've got going on now at the moment. So let's give this thing another test, and I'll probably want to do this with cobblestone. So let me reconfigure this stuff, and I'll be right back. All right, let's see if this works the way I think it's going to. So in theory, if I switch the... which one's this? Red lever should be sand? In theory? Oh, look at that. Sand is going. Boom. What's up? Nice. If we flip this off and flip this on, it should swap the sand out and make cobblestone go in. Cool. Sand, you should be getting retrieved. Why are you not getting retrieved? Sand, retrieve. Maybe the red string thing doesn't work on the sand. That could be a case of a possible thing that's happening. All right, let me come back in a minute and troubleshoot a little bit. Oh, I think I just missed a connection, that's all. Boom. Now are you pulling the sand out? Hopefully. Aha, there we go. Yep, dire derp, just missed a connection. That's all it was. You guys probably noticed that, but you'd be surprised how tricky it can be to catch little things like that when you're recording. So that should pull the sand out and put it into the blood altar. In theory. Oh, no, it's looping. Oh, that's why. We're probably going to want to move this thing and put it here. So we'll put the vacuum here and this guy there, and now you should come out and go that way. See? A little bit of troubleshooting, that's all you need. Perfect. Cool. So the sand is there. We turn off the sand and we turn on the gravel, for example. Cool. The sand's already been pulled out. The gravel's heading its way in. Gravel might loop once just because the sand was there when it got pulled out, probably. There we go. Nice. So what's cool about this, and the reason I'm using the red string, is I can do all of this and it's completely hidden. Look at that. So you just have these little panels on the wall and like, it's magic. But the magic is all behind the scenes. Nice, right? So let's actually do this with real items now. Let me get the things I'll need to get started and then we'll be right back. All right, so let's prep it. You ready? So we're going to have the alchemic chemistry set on the front once again, and we'll have chests, which will eventually be ME interfaces. You can see I already have them in my inventory ready to go. And the one I decided I want to go with terre. So let's get some dirt and sand, obsidian, and simple catalyst. Okay, and I'm going to snag a handful of that, which should automatically start cooking up some more for us. Ta-da! Hooray for automation. We can craft one of these real quick. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and this. And for now, let's go ahead and make ourselves a new orb. Why not? So I think it was, let's do a shard. We'll just snag this guy. Oh man, full inventory again. Cool. Let this thing cook up. It won't be long. In the meantime, I can use this. Nice. So terre is ready, and we can swap this out here. So let's, for now, like just put some stuff we don't need in here for the moment. And in here can be these guys and this. That'll clean up my inventory definitely. So this is going to be the terre for now. So we can snag that guy, put terre in. Actually, before I do that, let's make sure that our filter is on terre. So we'll remove the cobblestone and put terre in the filter. That should be all we need to do there. Then we can do this and that. And then we're going to want to tap into our AE system to determine when we want Terre, because we're going to want to basically store it, right? But we'll get to that part in a minute. So for now, all we should have to do is take a nap, because I want it to be daytime when I run this for the first time for real. And let's simulate and pretend like we've got a level emitter from AE here, right? So we don't have enough Terre in the system, we want more, so we need to activate the brown switch, I believe it is. So pull that lever, and Terre should be removed, placed in here. Dun dun dun. This guy should start cooking then. Oh right, I have to activate the ritual with my weak activation crystal. Only one time activation. There it is. Cool. And you can see we're automatically crafting this stuff. Beautiful. Terre is going in here. And then once we have enough Terre, we just say, yeah, that's good, we're cool, we don't need any more. Level emitter off, Terre gets pulled out of the system. This thing might hang on to the last piece that it's crafted, that's fine. It'll get inserted next time the lever is activated, and everything's cool. Look at that. I like it. So now we just have to do this for a couple more. That's cool. Let's get our AE system wired over here, though. I've got a bunch of ME cable. I do have some arcane stone that I wouldn't mind getting some facades of. I've got 12 of them at the moment, but let's get some more cable anchors. Let's get some more cable anchors. Yeah, we're gonna want a handful of this. Let's just do it. That's fine. 48 should be plenty. Now, if my memory serves me correctly, there it is. Cool. So I can probably just, you know, cut across this whole thing. What I'm thinking is right down the middle here, and then we'll just put facades on the top and bottom. I don't think the arcane stone block is a multi-block, so you shouldn't be able to tell what's been done. Cool. So this guy will be an ME interface. Oh no. Let's put away some stuff real quick. Sorry, I'm making a mess, I know. Let's put away this guy. We'll just put all this away for now, and then we'll get it back in a second. Really need to sort out my inventory issues that I've got, but I promise I'll get there. And then we'll have another ME interface on the back. And then we're probably going to want to continue running this out there. So that we can get our level emitters set. So it might not be a bad idea to do the level emitters on this side of the room. So let's switch this. Well, yeah, it should be fine. I can just do you. Cool. And we can run level emitters like so. There it is. So if they were to come up here, let's say, I'll probably run them like this. How's this sound? And then once the level emitters are run, we can actually set that up. So let's get the cable going. There we go. Over here as well. And I don't think I have any level emitters handy, but I can get one real quick. Or 3. Let's just get the 3 that we'll need, but for now we'll probably only power one of them. I do have 1, but we'll definitely want a couple more. All right, 2's enough. There we go, cool. And this guy is going to be configured. Let's actually, it's not exactly what I wanted to do, but that's fine. I wanted to cut the power on this thing, but so this should be matched up with brown, and we should have terre in there. So we'll say terre in the system, we're going to want 10 at all times. How's that? Emit when levels are below or equal to the limit. Cool, so it should be emitting, and then we just configure this guy to be brown. And what we should wind up with is terre in the system. Nice. Now we just have to configure this thing. So let's put the terre away. This should be connected. Awesome. We can put this away and this away for now. And I'm going to use this guy to get sand, dirt, 1 of each. Oops. That's the opposite of what I wanted to do. Sand and dirt. Wow, I'm really derping on that. Obsidian and simple catalyst. 2 obsidian is what's needed, and 1 simple catalyst. Cool. So that should start cooking. So let's see if this thing works correctly. Once we get 10 terre in the system, we've currently got 4, 5. While that's going, we can cover this up. Love it when a plan comes together. Nice. We now have 8, 9, and we'll watch over here. We should see, boom, pulled out, awesome, and back into the, oh, that is cool. So all we have to do is expand this, right? We choose which ones we want to keep stocked, and, you know, awesome. I think the system speaks for itself. All right, we'll be back in just a minute, guys. So guys, another thing we're going to want probably a decent amount of is strengthened catalyst. So let's do it. All I have to do now that I have a copy of it, I've already taught this guy to keep bone meal and netherwort handy, and he's already keeping simple catalyst on hand. So one thing we might run into is a lack of inventory space on the ME interfaces, but I'm considering duplicating this build over there and having both of these work similarly. So now you're going to keep strengthened catalyst instead of gravel. We'll get our level emitter here. I'll do that in a minute. Let's configure this guy to be blue, just for fun. Though this should be pretty straightforward. Strengthened catalyst, we'll say again, we want 10 of them and below. So that should be emitting a redstone signal now, in theory. Once it calculates, come on. Am I missing a channel? Oh, I'm missing channels already? Yeah, I'm gonna have to redo my AE system a little bit again. You know what I can do, or should be able to do? Yeah, wow, I'm rapidly running out of channels on this thing. I should get a whole 32 channels up here. That would be kind of smart. But we'll do that in a minute. I guess for now, what can I do to fix this? I'm just gonna remove this thing. That should free up a channel, and we can see if this is working now. There we go. Cool. I think next episode is absolutely going to be along the lines of fixing AE a little bit. So now I should be able to put in here the strengthened catalyst, go, and that should be it. So now we just have to set this thing to green is the channel that we want to do. So we'll actually change this to be green, and we should see the strengthened catalyst having been pulled out, and it's sitting in there. Awesome, and this thing is cooking up more strengthened catalysts. So see, very easy to update this system now. So we'll have room for 6 in total over here. Like I said, we might have more over there. And also, like I said, I really need to consider how I'm going to fix my AE systems cabling. Maybe I'm going to have to spend an episode on that, cleaning up AE cabling, because at this point, AE is just not going to function until I get it tidy. Yeah, I might need to expand our controller numbers, but if we take a look now, we should have 10 strength and catalyst in there. Or 11, that's cool. I'll deal with that. So we got the strength and catalyst that we're going to want. Oh, that's right, because it makes 2 at a time. It went back in there. And then, of course, if I ever take out some strength and catalyst, so if I need some, boom, watch what happens. As soon as I take it out, instantly, automatically crafting a new set of strength and catalysts for us. How cool is that? All right, guys, so I think that's a good wrapping up point for the episode. This thing is pretty cool, and it's not using Steve's Factory Manager. I like when I do a new build with a different thing than I've used before. I'll come back next episode. I will plan to fix my AE system. I think we need to get these guys auto-crafting a little bit more intelligently, and we really should tidy it up. Like, it's a mess. I won't lie. I attest to the fact that I have made a giant mess of my AE system, and I'm going to basically rip this floor up and rewire a lot of the things. All right, guys, take it easy.